Welcome to the Three-Man Weave Best Bets show presented by Circa Sports. That's right, fellas. We're back for our first March Best Bet show of the entire season. March is here. It is the best month of the entire year, Jim. Yeah, it's my birthday month. No big deal. I'm not one of those birthday guys, though. Who cares about
You
birthdays?
sound like one.
I'm
You sound
turning
like
50 this month. I can't wait. We're going to Vegas twice. Once, of course, for the first weekend, our annual trip, and once, of course, for Circa. Circa Sports are doing live shows there, Sweet 16 / Elite 8 weekend. And guess what? You can win a trip to Circa for free, stay for free. Okay, the flight's not free, pay for your own flight. But Circa's giving away 3 free nights in their wonderful hotel. Jim, which hotel is it?
Circa Resort and Casino.
Circa Resort and Casino. Stadium swim, free day bed, no minimum spend day bed, 2 free drinks at the Legacy Club. You can sign up for this wonderful giveaway. The link below in the description. Again, we will be there doing live shows, hang out with us at the Cabana, watch some ball with us, talk Sweet 16 Elite 8, bring some family and friends, make it a big thing. So we will be announcing the winner of that on March 9th. That's next weekend. So still time this week to get your entries in. We'll be announcing it live on next week's show. Circa, thank you for sponsorship. And, of course, thank you for this giveaway. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, fellas, takeaways before we get into the slate here. Matthew, go ahead. You first.
Our blurs. Blur up. Sister Jean Magic is so back on the north side of Chicago. Shame on us for not going to any Loyola games this year. Like, that team's just been fun, like all conference play. We saw them play the first game of the year against FAU. They looked in complete disarray, but now it's just like everything's working. Their defense is awesome. And rooting hard for them to win the tournament. So we get a 2-bid A10. Although I guess a 2-bid A10 is basically locked if Dayton loses in the tournament. So fun times ahead, Jimbo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to quick complain about unbalanced schedules because poor Dayton.
Yeah.
And the other 2 top 3 teams in the league, Richmond and Loyola, they had to play them once each on the road. Did not get to have them at home. Don't love that. Injuries also dumb. Dayton's second point guard, Javon Bennett, got hurt. Did not play in the second half. Malachi Smith's already out for the year. Injuries stink. That's no good. But that scene was great. Fantastic crowd. Braden Norris with the dagger late. The jersey pop to the crowd. That was fantastic. Shout out to Appalachian State, too. Clinched the Sun Belt yesterday. Dusty Kearns. James Madison was the darling of the non-conference with the win at Michigan State. But the Mountaineers came on strong, 16-2 in the league. So that's my hat tip of the day.
Yeah, I was also going to talk about Dayton, just a courtesy FU to Dayton. That 200-1 future is looking horrible now. Yeah, Javon Bennett, if he's hurt long term, they're toast. Unfortunately, that's the long and the short of it. Okay, fellas, let's get into the slate today. We're starting off with Tennessee at Alabama, marquee matchup in the SEC. Bama laying 3.5, 4. Surprise, surprise, Matthew, the home team is taking money. Winner likely wins the SEC. My first thing here, Matt, is points. Points. Your thoughts?
Yeah, a lot of them, enough to go over, probably. It seems like all of these gut obvious overs that I don't bet win. Jim, as you said, scared money does indeed make money sometimes, but I'll stay away from those of you.
No,
it doesn't. Well, no,
it does not
it
make
does.
money. Not for
it
me.
doesn't when you bet on them, I guess. I like Alabama. I know it's been bet up a little bit high, but they are 11-3 against the number at home. I know Tennessee's been on fire, but like their recent games have been largely against teams in bad spots, not discounting too much how awesome they've been. Connected is absolutely insane, like insane. And Ziegler looks like fully healthy and they like well-oiled machine, but away from Rocky Top, I think they're a fade-worthy type team. I would lay 4, Jim, in a high-scoring game. 4 doesn't feel like a big number at all. It feels like close to a pick 'em and a 172 total.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Alabama's offense much better at home. Tennessee defense much worse on the road. Like they've been a heavy over team on the road. So I think that contributes also to potential points. They get up and down and just not as sharp on that end. And I mean, the first game, it was Alabama's worst offensive performance of the year. Like they were sloppy, 22 turnovers, 4 of 21 from deep. Tennessee kind of bullied them and took them completely out of rhythm. Keeping an eye on Right Cell's status today. I think he's probably going to be back. That's what it sounds like. And he's mega important, 45% three-point shooter, spaces the floor for all the drives that they have going in that offense. I'm not there, though, on taking Alabama. I feel like it's close for me, Kai, given how good they are at home, and Tennessee just maybe not quite the same on the road. But I think the physicality can potentially disrupt Alabama a little bit, maybe not quite as much as the first game. with a 20-point blowout, but over is definitely my preferred play here.
Yep, like the over two. And I apologize if there's a hum from my mic. I need to change some audio settings, but I'm not very sophisticated with this
No,
stuff,
you sound
guys.
crystal, King.
I sound good to
crystal.
you guys, but there's a hum on the YouTube. Why that is, I don't know. I see the little spiking. I know what they're talking about, but sorry. Okay, yeah, I like the over as well. Yeah, Bama running guns. Tennessee, number 2 offensive tempo this year in the SEC. It's a different Tennessee team. We've been saying it all year. Matchup perspective, I think both teams obviously can score, but only one can defend. That's Tennessee. I think that's what sets them apart, can force turnovers. Alabama can definitely be a little careless with the ball at times. Tennessee clearly needs to get out in the perimeter. They allow a very high three-point attempt rate. That's not going to fly against Bama, who lets it fly. I actually lean towards Tennessee here, guys, at +4. I think it's another one of those situations where the spread's getting just a little bit too high for the home team. The market's been betting these things up all season. I don't think it's always correct. Okay, next one here. Hey, I didn't even change the fun little rundown shade here. Illinois, Wisconsin, the battle in the Big Ten. The Badgers, Jim, oh my gosh, they are flailing is an appropriate term. 2-9 in their last 11 games, and guess what? 1-11 against the spread their last 12 games. Illinois with a win, Jim, locks up number 2, all but locks up number 2 in the Big Ten. Your thoughts here?
Well, Kai, this is an unranked home favorite against a ranked road team, so lock it up. Just kidding. That's only 22-21 against the spread this year, 65-61 the last 3 years. It is a coin flip. It is not something that you should be betting. Yeah, I think this is a little too high. A team that's playing terrible right now against a team with an incredible offense. Now, Matt, we know that Illinois' defense is not good. It's been terrible for months. Why not the over here? I have no idea why not. Wisconsin has not covered 8 straight games. Well, Illinois has gone over 8 straight games. Also, 12 of the last 13, 16 of the last 18 Illinois games have gone over the total. It's just been a complete points bonanza whenever they play, coming off one of the most efficient games in the history of the sport against Minnesota. Minnesota scored 1.5 points per possession and lost. So yeah, pretty ridiculous right now, the run that the offenses are on in Illinois games. I'm not getting in the way of that, Matt. I think we see a lot more efficient scoring today. Illinois wants to get the tempo going. I know the total's in the 150s, weird for Wisconsin, but I still like the over, and I still like Illinois getting a whole basket on the road, a whole possession. I'm not trusting Wisconsin the way they're playing right now. So Illinois and over definite leans for me, not quite best bets though.
It's crazy how poor Wisconsin's been against the spread you mentioned with 1-11. Like, I think people just keep betting on the bounce back at home spots, and they have won their last 2 at home, but by 8 against Ohio State. I guess that was the first game Ohio State was no longer a corpse post Holtman, and they beat Maryland by 4 last Tuesday. I don't know. You could maybe convince me it's a bounce back spot, but I've just been pretty anti-Wisconsin all year. I'm not touching this. Just an update on Big Ten home courts. They're 7-4 in the last week. So there's really been we thought there might be some like late season regression or market over betting these, but now home courts in this league continue to be awesome. You have to have a really, really good reason to fade a home team, and I don't think it's a good enough reason for me to fade them.
Yeah, Illinois' defense, you guys kind of mentioned it, it's been porous. You can't get lost against Wisconsin's screen game. They haven't been great at defending cuts or post-ups all year. Guess what? That's kind of Wisconsin's bread and butter. Pace battle. We love pace battles. Illinois thrives in transition. The Badgers don't really allow it. In fact, one of the best teams in the country at disallowing it this season per synergy. How do Heppard and Klesmit handle the size of Illinois' perimeter, I think is a key question here. I do think the Badgers can control the pace better at home, surgically pick apart the Illini. I actually lean towards the Badgers. 3.5, a little bit high, but I lean towards Wisconsin here.
Kai reaching out for falling knives right now.
I know. They got to turn it around eventually. They're due factor, Jim.
Jim, real quick, does this check out to you? Wisconsin's dead last in the league in block rate and dead last in getting blocked themselves. Like, it just screams like unathletic team that can't block your shot and gets blocked all the time by more athletic teams.
Well, it's like, and this is a more athletic Wisconsin version, but the front court's not athletic.
The front court's
and Stephen Crowell are not skying on you. AJ Storr gives them a little more pop, but yeah, he's not really a shot blocker, so that makes sense.
All right, next game, Marquette at Creighton. Yes, this spread is getting high. Creighton 6.5, I think, pre-show. The reason Tyler Kolek is out, fellas, the announcement is well out there on Twitter. Some got to it earlier than others. Here's what I'm saying, though. Matt, if it gets to 7, I'm likely punching back with Marquette. I don't think it's we're almost in overreaction territory in terms of the number. Is anybody worth 3.5 points to the line? Not many. Maybe Kolek is. He's vital, but they still have pieces around him. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he is on most teams in America, like worth 4 to 5 to even a touchdown. But on this Marquette team with, not a ton of guards, I know their guard depth's been a little bit hindered, but they do have other guys, right? Like the drop off is not cataclysmic, although he is so unique and so good. And there's literally zero precedent of how Marquette plays without him. He's never missed a game in his career. I think he's been like a 4-year starter, 3.5-year starter. So I don't like going into the unknown, Jim, with the guy who is so who's orchestrates that offense so uniquely. So I'm staying away. I kind of like Kai's angle here, but I don't want to get that cute.
Is the precedent him being banged up in the Michigan State game last
Yeah,
year?
that's a good point. And they sort of faltered. Yep, there you go.
Short-circuited them a little bit, so perhaps that's it. But I'm with Kai. I think this is getting a little too high. Shaka Smart as an underdog has been incredible his entire coaching career. You're giving him more than 2 possessions on the road. Like, yes, definitely Creighton could bury them with jump shots and just kind of overwhelm them. But Marquette's more athletic. They've covered and won 3 straight against Creighton, this particular Creighton core. Even without Kolek, I think they can kind of battle, hang around here. Of course, this is the guy that said that about Seton Hall at Creighton, and they got blown out. But Marquette is obviously better, more well coached. I'm with Kai. I lean there and the under. I think you take Kolek out, and the under has some value. I know that was the Field 68 bet rhythm play of the day as well, Kai. So hop in on that. Now, I'm throwing shade, but I do think like handicapping it, the under makes sense to me. Marquette's offense gets worse without Kolek out there.
Yeah, I will not be commenting on rhythm. By the way, if you don't hear the buzz, I threw an expander on it. No big deal. I upped the threshold of decibels that you need to actually hear stuff. Not a huge deal. I'm picking it up on the fly. Okay, Marquette's defense, still a factor in this game. Kolek much more valuable on offense. Their pressure, their athleticism, their quickness, I think can still get at Creighton's guards. How do they score, though? It's a good question. Cam Jones obviously can be that guy. They need him to step up in this game. Again, if it hits 7, I'm punching back with Marquette. I'm even leaning there at 6.5. The under, I think, is a good play. It was 154. It might be lower now. If it's down to 152-ish, I think the value is almost quite sucked out of that. But just check your lines. Obviously, some shopping. Always prefer Circa Sports, of course, though. Of course. Okay, next one here. Gonzaga, St. Mary's, fellas. A huge one in the WCC. St. Mary's minus 2.5. WCCs are locked in. Seeds are locked in here. The Gales won the league. The Zags are number 2. Jim, Gonzaga, we know as bracketologists, could really use this game for an at-large. Would give them another Q1 win. Huge. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think in a lot of the mid-major leagues where once the team clinches, you kind of anticipate a letdown because like what do they have left to play for? But obviously St. Mary's has seeding to play for, and they're not a lock at large. They're pretty darn close. Like they're almost certainly in. But they're not going to, I think, have a big letdown. Randy Bennett's too good of a coach to allow that. That said, I think Gonzaga is playing fantastic right now. They absolutely smashed San Francisco in the second half last game. I think they know that they're much closer to the cut line and how important that is. A little bit of road revenge here, Matt, after Gonzaga lost at the Kennel after controlling a decent amount of it, and St. Mary's ran the last 10 minutes. Best bet, Gonzaga, plus 2.5. I'm taking the Zags on the road.
I lean that way. I'm kind of anchoring to the historical dominance the Zags have had against St. Mary's, like other than the last 2 games at St. Mary's, one of which was won in overtime.
Because of a banked Mahaney 3.
Yeah, which should have probably lost. I know Wessels could be back in this game. I know we've been a fan of his, and then we were no longer a fan of his, and Randy Bennett wasn't a fan of his.
Doesn't play.
He's I think we like his potential more than his substance. However, I do think he would matter as a body up front. I mean, Graham Ike has been an absolute star. Just basically giving me the middle finger after I snubbed him from my first team all conference WCC for the Almanac, all caps Almanac. I agree with Jim. I'm not going to bet it, but I think Jim's got the right side here.
Yeah, game 1, Josh Jefferson, 16-11. Pretty important.
Yeah, good point.
Pretty important for St. Mary's there. He's done for the year, not playing in this game. The Zags have been an inferno ever since that loss. Their offense is nuts. The Gales do have the best defense in the league. In fact, one of the best in the country. It's very strength on strength, especially the EK matchup in the post. The Gales did win the pace battle in game 1. They probably will again. It's really hard to win the pace battle against St. Mary's, especially at St. Mary's. They really shut down the post and transition. Both are keys to Gonzaga's success. but this is more of a gut feel for me, fellas. I do lean towards Gonzaga here, plus 2.5. I kind of think they'll win this game outright. And like I said before, the WCC bros are bros. They know what it takes for at large capabilities here for Gonzaga to get into the tournament. St. Mary's,
Throw
might
it.
just go
Throw
ahead
it.
and let them win this.
Yeah,
game.
throw a bone here. I agree.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go. Okay, yeah, lean towards Gonzaga there. That does it, fellas, for our first half of the show. We're heading to Chat Mob, but before we do have a sponsor on this show. It is Manscaped. That's right, Manscaped. Here we go. Let me get my razor out real quick. Okay. Top of the morning to you. This episode is brought to you by the St. Patrick's Day Shamrock Shavers, Manscaped. This year, don't just chase rainbows, make your own pot of gold and groom your little leprechaun with the leaders in the below-the-kit care. Say goodbye to your clover forest with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and let your confidence shine bright. Embrace the luck of the Irish and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com and use our promo code 3MW for 20% off plus free shipping. Matt, ever since I've used Manscaped, I can proudly say I found my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Have you found yours?
Yeah, I've been a proud owner and a user for over a year now. So, as I mentioned before, excited to get my dueling razors Wolverine going here when I get back to Chicago.
That's right. Dual razors.
That's probably not very safe, actually.
Buy two, buy
maybe
three
not.
Manscaped razors. Why not? They're equipped with dual LED spotlights. Navigate your shamrock patch in peace. Worried you'll make a little mess? Fear not. This wonder is waterproof. Shaved by the misty moors under a waterfall or even during a rain dance, its compact case makes an ideal companion, ready for any adventure or last-minute plans. Trimming the hedges in your Irish garden isn't just for below the belt. Complete your look with Manscaped's signature Beer Hedger Pro Kit and Handyman electric face shaver. Jim, just go down, up, down, up, down, up. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, whether you're sculpting your beard or cleaning up your neckline, these are always the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with our code 3MW at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping with code 3MW, manscaped.com. This St. Patrick's Day, make sure your little hairy leprechaun is luckier than ever with Manscaped.
I like the idea from the chat that the hum on your mic was you just had that running. You had your little trimmer running.
Yeah,
right
there
by the
you go.
microphone. That's what it was. All right, yes, chat mob. Let's get to it. A couple of early tips. We'll start with. I'm going to field the first one because I have a take on it. Colgate -3.5 at Lehigh. A couple of people asked about this. I like the Mountain Hawks at home. Still think they're a little undervalued because of some injuries they had earlier in the year. Keith Higgins, especially. Colgate, not a lot to play for. They've got home court advantage through the tournament no matter what. And it's just not the elite, unstoppable Colgate of past years. So I like Lehigh, with a little bit of extra incentive going on in that game. All right, next up, Kai to the A10. UMass at Davidson. This is a pick'em right now. Is UMass going to be reeling from the announcement that they're going to the MAC, Kai?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I hope Davidson fans are brutal about it, like ruthless and taunting the Minutemen all the time, all game this game. I don't really have a strong side here, Jim. I slightly into Davidson, but you know me, I've been a bit of a UMass hater all season, so I don't think I'd come with an unbiased take there.
I bet
Fair
Dave.
enough.
UMass undisciplined.
Okay.
Davidson stuff, I think, puts their minds in a pretzel. Yeah.
Matt, other early game, Villanova at Providence. The Friars -2.5 at home. This first game was like an embarrassment for Providence. The Cockroaches got run out of the gym. They're also coming off getting blown out at Marquette, despite Kolek getting hurt. Do Kimmy English and the boys get it right at the dunk?
I kind of lean Villanova. I don't really want to bet a side in this one. I like the under. This feels like a 50 to 53 game in which there's 30 seconds every possession and a lot of misses, a lot of rebounds, and a game you don't want to watch. This is definitely not on your watch list today.
Valid. Kai, a darling team of the college basketball world right now, South Florida. They have won 19 of 20. They are getting 3.5 at Charlotte. I mean, South Florida just keeps winning. Don't you want to take points with them?
Charlotte's getting money too. I'm seeing 4.5 out there in the market. 4. Listen, like Manscaped, I think South Florida is a little bit of fool's gold. I don't think they are as good as their record currently is. Clearly, the spread would indicate that as well. I do lean their way at 4.5. Pinnacle's got 5 out there. I mean, that's getting a bit high for me, but Charlotte's a good team here. I'd probably just stay away.
I like South Florida. I don't know. I
I
think
do
it's a little
too.
undervalued.
Just good. I agree.
Are they
Also,
undervalued?
like, what is this?
Ooh.
I mean, because the first month of the season was so bad for them that,
Sure. Yeah.
you could say this version is significantly better. I don't mind that.
And they get bet against every game too. So like you get like an extra point or two in their favor.
Yeah, but Charlotte's a lock because they're an unranked home favorite over a ranked team. So
Okay.
lock it up.
What's
Keep
the
that in
record again
mind,
this
Matthew.
year?
22 and 21.
Okay.
Point for. All right, Matthew, in the Big Ten, Northwestern, the Big Ten team of Chicago, they're -2.5 against Iowa at home. It just doesn't matter who's hurt for Northwestern. No Langborg last game, Ty Berry out for the year. They win at Maryland. Do they keep it rolling against the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, down to 2.5. Circa sitting at 2.5. Actually, most places sit 2.5. I kind of lean Northwestern too. Like it feels like they're losing bodies left and right. But they can defend, and I think that's sort of what you have to do at least to keep yourself in the game against Iowa. I think they take Iowa out of transition D, which Collins talked about yesterday in his presser. I like the Purple Kittens. Big boo booey game today.
Let's see here. Kai, Houston, -6.5 on the road at Oklahoma. A big game that did not make the cut of the outline because it's a Saturday and there are a million awesome games.
Yeah.
Do the Cougars either laying a touchdown on the road against Porter Moser? That seems kind of spooky.
I think that's a little bit high. As much as I love Houston, I think 6.5 is a lot. I still really respect OU, their coaching, and I think they can kind of play Houston's game a bit and maybe not get quite flustered, intimidated by the Houston physicality as most teams can. I would lean ever so slightly to OU at 6.5 there.
I just saw this question in the chat and it jumped out at me so much that I'm just going to answer it right away. Aaron Marshall, can Butler put up 80 on DePaul? Yes. Butler has been playing a gauntlet of a Big East schedule. They will be so relieved to play that horrific defense. I like that team total over quite a bit. I think Butler blows them out.
I kind of like the game over 147. Actually been bet down. Yeah, I love our chat. Just bringing up winners that have fallen beneath the cracks. Thank you. Continue doing the Lord's work, Jim. Sorry.
Yep, absolutely. Matthew, to you for a Big Ten question. Michigan State reeling a little bit right now. They are headed to Purdue. This feels like one where Michigan State plays up to me, getting 9.5, 10. I just feel like Izzo doesn't get blown out by the Boilermakers. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Circa's got 10. Rest of the market mostly at 10.5. I do lean towards Sparty. I mean, fading Purdue at home sounds awful. Talked about why you need a really good reason to fade a Big Ten home team, but I do think this is like, oh yeah, Michigan State was that team we all ranked second in the Big Ten preseason, and Xavier Booker started last game at center, actually played good. They will need to get him out of purgatory to compete up front in this game, no question.
Yeah, any center against Edie is going to get smashed. So having bad centers is not big of a concern. Kai, back to the Big 12 for you. The other team at the top of the standings, Iowa State, a big firebrand in the world of college basketball because they gamed the system, they gamed the net. But they are -4 on the road at UCF today. What are your thoughts there?
Lean UCF, Jim. Away from Hilton. Iowa State, obviously a little bit mortal, not quite as good. Still respect the team a lot, of course. But on the road, I lean towards UCF. The Knights taking care of business. Hey, remember, this team beat KU at their place. They can do it again to Iowa State.
Yep, beat Texas Tech. They've been rock solid at home. Johnny Dawkins, Sneaky doing a great job there. Matt, a couple of people asking about a Coastal athletic game. Towson at UNC Wilmington. -4 for the Seahawks at home is the last I saw. Any thoughts for you on that game?
No thoughts at all. I'm just looking at Stuckey's thread here with the scenarios. The winner of this game gets the double bye. So I think there's something to play for, right, in this game. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing a motivational thing. Yeah, I still lean toward UNC Wilmington. Towson's kind of thwarted me all season, but I think I lean toward the Seahawks.
A couple more here. I will field this one. Somebody asked about High Point at Longwood. This is one where High Point just clinched in an overtime game. Now they go on the road for a completely meaningless bout. I think Longwood is a terrific bet here. There's just not a ton left for High Point to play for, and Longwood has been underperforming all year. So getting 3.5 at home with a well-coached team, I like Longwood.
And they need to win too. They need to win this game too. So extra motivational bump for the Lancers.
Matthew, in the America East, Vermont is laying 7.5 at home against UMass Lowell. Vermont's shorthanded. They've got TJ Hurley and Matt Veretto that are going to sit out until the America East tournament. Do you think that gives Lowell the edge on the road against the Catamounts?
Yeah, I do. But I don't know. I feel like I've had a tough time betting Lowell blindly, foolishly in many cases. But they've been better lately, and they did take Vermont to OT in the first one. So I probably should go back to the Vermont or the Lowell well here against Vermont.
We can go back to the outline here, Kai. Remember to hit the like button,
Yeah.
order Manscaped, use promo code 3MW, and yeah, let's talk other games.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, please hit the like button, guys. Help us out. That would be fantastic. Also, reminder, check out the link in the description for the Circa Sports giveaway. 3 free nights at Circa, Sweet 16 Elite 8 weekend. We'll be there doing live shows from Stadium Swim. If you haven't been there, it's fantastic. Awesome place to watch a game. Enter your chance to win for the giveaway. Link in the description. Okay, on we go to Kansas and Baylor. Baylor -5.5, -6 right now. Matthew, a winner of this game, will take sole possession of third. We assume McCullough is out once again. Otherwise, the spread would seem quite high. KU won game one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I saw the official game time decision. It feels like
Yeah.
he's closer to out,
Yeah.
right? I think I saw 6 at one point this morning. I think 6 I would have endorsed Kansas. I think 5's about right. 5.5. It just feels like that anytime the number between these two teams skews too far away from like that +5, -5, it's going to be a one possession game, no matter where it's played. I mentioned this morning as well. My gut tells me Baylor wins this game. I just don't think they can cover that margin with the way they've been playing. Much slower, low possession. We saw that first game very methodically played. I think it plays very similarly here, even at Baylor's home floor.
I think if McCullough's out, Baylor wins by 10. I just, yeah, I think they're better. I think they regret kind of letting it slip away a little bit at Kansas. Missed a
Turned it
couple
over way
threes in
too
the
much
final
in that
minute to
game.
tie it
Yeah.
up. Yeah. And they've got a couple bodies to use on Dickinson. You know, Misi and Ojanwina are solid enough. I think Chama Chachua might have even made a cameo in that game. He's played a couple minutes recently. Yeah, I think Baylor's defensive foibles won't show up quite as much here, despite KU's terrific ball movement. And again, I kind of expecting McCullough to not play. So certainly lean towards Baylor, potentially an under based on pace, but scary to bet Baylor unders because of efficiency.
Yeah, game one, worth noting, Jayhawks forced 21 turnovers. I don't think that's going to happen in this game for Baylor. Kansas won that game despite shooting 5 for 21 from deep. Neither team really shot well. I tend to think Baylor shoots better. I think this is their game. Again, I do think 6 points is a lot. KU still has an All-American center, heady point guard, one of the best underrated players in the country with Adams, and arguably the best coach in the country with Bill Self. But McCullough is a big deal on both ends. Defensively, especially, his impact will especially be felt on that end. Will Baylor take advantage this time? Because remember, McCullough wasn't in this game in game one either. KU beat them without McCullough once. Can they do it again? I tend to not think so. I think the Bears do win. Again, 6 is a little bit too much for me to lay, but I do lean towards the Bears here.
Yeah, wasn't that first game like KU -7 at home without
Yeah, I think it
McCullough?
got to 8. Right. It's a huge
So this
flip.
is an insane flip.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's valid.
That does sound correct, Jim. I do think that game had to have closed a lot smaller than 8.
It came down, but also the game
5,
played to
5.5,
what,
I
2 or
wanna say.
3. So you could argue that was
Yeah.
just a really bad closing number, and that's not as valid. But
Yeah, that was a weird one for sure. Okay, moving on. Wake, Virginia Tech, Vatech -1.5-ish in the market. Jim, it's do or die time for Wake, man. Squarely on the bubble. They lost to Notre Dame last game. Virginia Tech not technically dead, but they would need to win out and make some noise in the ACC tournament to make the actual big tournament. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, which they've been able to do a few times in past years. 2 years ago, they ran through the tournament. Hunter Couture went absolutely bonkers, and Virginia Tech ended up soaring their way into the big dance. Reminder: there's a lot of coaching history here. Both guys were in the SoCon together, East Tennessee State and Wofford, respectively. Mike Young is 8-6 against the spread against Forbes. Not quite enough to tilt me one way or the other. I tend to think, Matt, we get a much, much better effort from Wake here, but they've been bad on the road all season. It's been a very home-heavy team. I'm not really going to wager on the fact that they could beat a NCAA tournament caliber team in Virginia Tech, maybe not actually in the dance, but I'm spooked by this one. I think you get, like I said, a little bit of buy low on Wake Forest, but they're just not good on the road. I don't trust them.
yeah, especially at Virginia Tech. Like, I know
Yes.
Virginia Tech's home road splits have been, I don't think as strong as they have been historically, but like every player in the ACC, I saw some poll in the ACC network. They all voted Virginia Tech as like the hardest, weirdest place to go play it. Castle's just such an odd set up. The lights are dim. The students are on top of you. So, yeah, good luck to Wake today. I think the better team. They should win, but we've said that a million times when they've been on the road this year, and they haven't delivered. So,
Yeah, Wake bludgeoned them in game one. They never trailed.
yeah.
Led by 28, won by 23. Salas went off. He's so good, by the way, Hunter Salas. He's really coming on this year. Wake always has under
House
four.
was so bad against Notre Dame. He has to be better
Well,
today.
there you
Has
go.
to be. Yeah.
Hot and cold. That's the tricky part about watching the good games, not watching the bad, right? Starters in that game, all double digits. The athleticism and size edge is just considerable for Wake. Excuse me, over Virginia Tech. Salas, Monsanto, big wings. Hildreth, not the biggest guy, but tough as nails. The hustle king from Britain. Reed Carr, a great combo inside to kind of handle Lynn Kidd's emergence. And Wake takes away the three about as good as anybody in the ACC. I think this game is Wake's personally. I've gone against Virginia Tech at home before, Matt, like you said. Like I leaned towards Virginia when they absolutely smashed them, hand up. But I do like Wake here, or at least lean their way with the spread. Okay, New Mexico and Boise is where we're heading next. The Mountain West. Boise, -3.5, and a win puts them in a tie for first place in the Mountain West. They have a brutal stretch coming up, Matt, with New Mexico, Nevada, and then at San Diego State to close the year. New Mexico is pretty much in Dayton right now, per most bracketologists. Their recent loss to Air Force has put them in danger zone. Your thoughts on this game?
I have my gut split down the middle, right? So I have gut left saying New Mexico is poorly coached and they feel like they have some chemistry issues after that Air Force loss, and I can't trust them with the 10-foot pole. The stronger right-hand gut is saying they are 10x more talented than Boise, and they are pissed off that Boise embarrassed them at the pit way back when, and they get a big convincing win on the road. I lean toward my Lobos. I'm going to stick with them. I'm going to ride the ship until it sinks.
Good luck, man. It might sink today. Unfortunately. I still think the committee is going to be way too tempted by the Patino versus Patino Dayton matchup.
I know, it's just so obvious. Just do it.
As long as
we're all giving you the permission to do it, just do it.
Yeah, as long as New Mexico gives them like a mild leg to stand on to inclusion, I think they will make that move. I like Boise State here. I know Max Rice absolutely went bananas in the first meeting, and you can't really expect that to happen again. But Boise's versatile size up front with Stanley, with Dagenhart, with Cam Martin, I think that's tough for New Mexico to deal with. I know they've got Toppin, but there's only one of him. Nelly Jr. Joseph is not an amazing defender. He's solid, but not elite, and not quite as mobile as you need to be to handle those guys. So, Kai, I actually do like Boise up there at Taco Bell Arena.
Yeah, you mentioned Rice, 35. Den had 31. It was fireworks in game one.
That was cooking.
Excellent basketball. Yeah, New Mexico, one of the heaviest ball screen offenses in the country. The guards rule that offense. But Boise, they've been really solid defending the pick and roll action this year, and it's because of those mobile bigs. Stanley and Dagenhart, they can move their feet a little bit, guys, out in the perimeter. However, Boise has been torched in transition. That's really where New Mexico needs to take advantage, try to kill them. Because on the other end, Jim, I agree. I think Boise's big men, their front court gives them a lot of problems. They play inside out. New Mexico's defense has been pretty lax lately at times. So I kind of lean towards Boise too. I think it's a pretty big toss-up here, but I lean towards Boise ever so slightly. All right, SEC is where we're going to finish the normal slate before we get into Chat Mob and Best Bets. We're talking Florida, and we're talking South Carolina. The Gamecocks, -2. Both teams, Jim, locked into the field. Wow, amazing. Preseason, you'd be like, wow, okay, that surprises me a little bit. South Carolina technically can still win a share of the SEC title, believe it or not. A Florida win will put them in a tie with the Gamecocks at third. Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, early tip here, one of the ones that's coming up shortly. I lean Florida. I think their bigs are mobile enough to not get messed up by the inversion that South Carolina does with theirs. Like, they put BJ Mack on the perimeter, and Florida can keep those guys out there without getting really cooked too much. And if South Carolina wants to slow the game down against a bigger team that smashes the offensive glass, I'm not sure that totally plays up for them quite as well as they would want it to. And I think Golden's kind of got it figured out, Matt, that Google isn't really even contributing, and the backcourt is terrific. Zion Pullen has been like borderline All-American, definitely like all conference in this league, never turns the ball over, steady Eddie in the backcourt, an adult in the room, as you like to call him. I think Florida wins on the road here at South Carolina.
Yeah, I think Florida, Golden explicitly said that we want to play fast. We play better in an up-tempo game. It's going to be hard to speed them up. So it's one of those cliche tempo wars, but I do think that actually applies here. Florida can get a little bit in transition, can loosen this game up. I think they can extend margin easy, but if they get caught in a nip and tuck, they get down early where South Carolina can sit on that lead long possession. It's going to be a tough uphill sled here. I still lean Florida on the number. I kind of agree with you. I think price wise, they're better, and I'm not selling give the Gamecocks like I know Kai is, but I do think they're a little bit a smidge overpriced, even at home here today.
Yeah, I still don't buy the Gamecocks as a really, really good team. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gamecock faithful in the chat. I just think they've been a little fortunate this year. I do think Paris has done a great job. I think the defense is really solid, but I also think they're not an elite team this season where their record kind of shows them at. Florida's length up front, I think, could be a problem for them. South Carolina's definitely held their own on the glass this in conference play. They did it against A&M. But I do think Florida has an edge there. I think Florida has an edge in the backcourt as well. So I lean towards the Gators here. Is +2 still out there? Would lean towards Florida there with the +2. I do think they win outright though too. That's my lean, fellas. All right, let's do it. Chat Mob Part 2 before some best bets. Jim, what do we got, Mr. Czar?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Hit the thumbs up, folks. Come on.
Yes, please.
It's easy. Takes 1 second.
Come on.
It makes us feel good.
Subscribe.
All right, Maddie. Yeah. Maddie, out west, your Eastern Washington boys laying double digits against Montana State.
Champions.
Is this one of those where the champ doesn't have as much to play for and you take double digits with the road team?
Happened last year, exact same spot here. EWash lost their final 2 and basically collapsed in sort of a dramatic fashion. They mentioned in the post game how like they're not doing that this year. I think like this year they have to finish the job. Not sure if that matters in this game. I think they're talking more about the tournament, but I do lean toward Montana State. They've not been playing very well, by the way. Kind of a sneaky skid that they're on too, but I think the spot's really good here for the Bob Kittens.
All right, Kai, we got a couple NEC questions here. We're going to see if you've got takes on them or not.
Oh boy.
We're starting with Stonehill and Central Connecticut State, CCSU laying 14 per Circa. That is the highest number in the market. So taking a little bit of money from some sharp folks, I would imagine. Are you riding with that against Stonehill?
Man, I got no opinion in this game. I'm going to be very honest with you. No opinion at all. Just eyeballing it and reaching into my gut. I'm thinking it's a little bit high, but I got nothing.
Fair enough. Maddie, the other one, Merrimack and Sacred Heart, also atop this league. My gut here is that Sacred Heart likes to play in transition and Merrimack mucks it up with that zone, concrete mixer zone. I lean Merrimack is the road favorite -3. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I do too. Why is Sacred Heart taking some money? It does feel low. Last game of the year, the spots in the tournament solidified here. This is another position or motivational one that I'm not privy to. Sacred Heart's already locked into the 3. Merrimack clinches the 1 seed if they win per Stuckey. I like Merrimack. What I'm missing something there, I'm sure, but I like Merrimack.
Let's be Warriors. Fire up Warriors.
Yeah,
Merrimack beat them by
we'll ride with you, Joe.
22, 24 in the first game. Yeesh.
Good. Do that again. Do it again.
All right, we're going to go back to more commonly watched games here. Kai, 2 from Will Jones. Arkansas headed to Kentucky. Arkansas has played a little better against better competition and then let down against bad teams. But now they're getting 12 and excuse me. No, that's
13.
I'm looking at Arkansas Pine Bluff instead of Arkansas. 13 at Rupp Arena. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I lean towards it's a bit high, but also remember this game's going to play to like 75 possessions. Is that maybe a little too high? I think it's going to play to a high possession.
Could be more.
Yeah,
it could
Kentucky's
be more.
going to run. Yeah, could hit 80. It's in the realm of possibilities. I'm not stepping in front of Kentucky right now. Arkansas I prefer at home, even though they haven't really been good there either. Slightly into Kentucky, but again, I think the spread's pretty right.
Yeah, potentially a little letdown for a young team off the buzzer-beating win at Mississippi State, but like it seems like Calipari's figured out who his best players are, and they're better when he plays their best players. All right, Matt, in a somewhat similar vein here, Arizona laying 13.5 at home against Oregon. Wildcats completely control their destiny in the Pac-12. If they win out, they win the league. Can the Ducks step up in class here and compete in Tucson?
I was on the Ducks in the first game. They never really in that game. Caleb Love was awesome, like completely dominated. One of his best games of the year, arguably. And Oregon still had a chance to get inside the number. They just couldn't get enough points. Just a tough spot. I think this game's actually a little bit more competitive, even though fading Arizona at home has been like the dumbest thing you can do, basically, all college basketball season. I kind of like the under too. Altman was like, we absolutely have to do everything we can to slow this team down in transition. I think he actually does because he's a good coach and I trust him. So slight underlean there for me.
Okay, right back to you, Matt, because this question you kind of, I think, have a take on, and it's your Duke Blue Devils. They are laying 9.5 at home against Wahoo Wah, the Cavs of UVA. Does Tony Bennett's squad muck this game up and keep it
Yep.
close?
Yeah, I think he does. I also might find out that Virginia's offense is truly incompetent, but I think this one's close. I remember same spot, was it last year or 2 years ago, where I thought Virginia was terrible. They were terrible, and they came in and beat Duke and Cameron with a really talented Duke team. So I kind of like the Who's here catching
All right,
nine and a
Kai,
half. Yeah.
to you for well, actually, we're gonna go Tulane at Florida Atlantic because I got confused by the question. I think somebody said Tulane versus Temple, and that's not happening today. But Tulane getting 16 at FAU. Boy, this seems high considering FAU has not covered numbers in this league.
I was surprised to see Tulane like floundering in the AAC standings. This team is
It's a good league.
they were good. It's a shame what they've become. 16 is way too high. Way too high. Holy cow, it's high. Yeah, Tulane on the side. I like the over a lot in this game. That's probably my more preferred play in this one. So the over, which has come down a couple places. Yeah, over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm betting
yeah, I like
Tulane.
that.
I mean, I love FAU. Why is it 16?
I have no idea.
FAU hasn't covered
Someone
anything
out.
margin at all this conference. Like they get every team gets up to play them and they can't defend.
That's
this
like
is Tulane.
That's like a Kevin Cross is out type of line, but
Yeah,
have to look
and
into
he
that.
doesn't matter. But I don't know. It's still too big.
All right, Maddie, back out west. Wazoo, the Cougars trying to get into that tie, and they have the tiebreaker against Arizona, so they got to keep winning. They survived against USC on Thursday. Now they got UCLA. They're laying 6. The chat tells me that Wazoo was a Raz play, Matt.
Yeah, I think
Any
Raz
thoughts
heard
for you on that?
I think Raz saw the post game presser from Mick Cronin saying that the rest of the year will be a tryout to see who is worthy of playing for him next year. I'm guessing they're betting on that info, whether that's legit or not. I did also bet Wazoo because I think they're just a better team and playing better. So if you put those together, I still think 7's a good price. It feels dumb to lay to fade UCLA as a pretty big dog. They've been a pretty feisty dog this year under Cronin since they've been better. I still think this is kind of they're done. Put a fork in them.
Best bet number 2 for me. A couple people asked about Hofstra at Charleston. This is that kind of narrative we talked about where Charleston has just clinched the outright regular season title, did that this week with the win over Campbell. Hofstra is playing incredibly well and is talented. They've covered 6 in a row. They also lost to Charleston earlier this year. Give me the +6. Let me make sure that is still the line out there. Yeah, +6 Hofstra against Charleston. I'm taking the Pride on the road. One of my best bets. So fire up Hofstra, Speedy Claxton and the boys. All right, Kai, to you for the Big Ivy battle of the day. Princeton laying 5 against Cornell at Princeton. Any thoughts?
A little high, just from where I personally value these teams. Cornell is legit, man. For our Yale futures, we hoped that Penn could have hung on yesterday. Kind of disappointing, but I think Cornell can hang around. Respect Princeton too, so it's just slightly into Cornell. 5.5, I think, is what you can find in the market.
Maddie, to you for which one should I give you? I'll give you Mississippi State at Auburn.
I'm ready.
I have a take on, well, one of them's extra board, and you hate the extra board, so
good. Don't want that one.
Avoid doing that for you. Yeah. From Chris Sari, a couple people too. Auburn laying 9.5 against Mississippi State at home. Both these teams coming off a midweek loss. What do you think?
Yeah, part of me said way too high for Chris Jans, a team that's competent and I think not all the way dead yet. Got healthier lately, but part of me thinks Auburn at home is just that's good luck to you, I guess, fading that steam. It's up to 10.5, though. I think if you're going to be a Mississippi State backer, now is your time. If you want to be an Auburn backer, you have missed your time.
I think it's still okay to bet Auburn. Personally, they have won every home game that they have won has been by 11 or more. The only non-version of that was losing to Kentucky outright. I just think they're going to be able to get that game in an up-tempo battle, and Mississippi State's been not as good defensively on the road. Patriot question from M. Sizza. Navy at American. Kai, I'm going to take it.
Good.
I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I had opinions on 2 of those, but not that one.
Okay, I'm going to lay it with American. Again, they got Sprouse and Stevens healthy, 2 of their guards that missed a couple of games. Team was a wreck without them. I think with those guys back, American is actually a little bit undervalued, similar to Lehigh with the Higgins injury. I like the Eagles there at home. Sorry to the ground or the water troops. Feel bad fading the troops. Kyle, you've been my Big 12 aficionado today.
Good.
Texas Tech at West Virginia here. Last number I saw was 3.5. It is currently 2. West Virginia or Texas Tech -2 on the road. Your thoughts?
Feels a little short. Are we still in injury zone with Texas Tech? Is Washington still not
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think it feels a bit short. I lean towards Texas Tech, but not strong.
Yeah, if West Virginia's played up decently well
Play up at home a
in
little
the
bit.
league.
Two good games in a row for West Virginia, I'd say. It's goodish.
All right, Matt, we've got another game with the angle of one team just clinched and the other might have a little more seeding to play for. That would be North Dakota State at the Jack Bunnies, South Dakota State. Excuse me, it's at North Dakota State. The Bunnies laying 3 on the road after a monster win at North Dakota to clinch the 1 seed. Do you get a letdown performance from them here?
It feels like it, but it's a rival, so I don't know how much of a letdown you truly get. I saw the Hawks Talk guy in the chat bringing this up against a great angle. I do lean toward the Bison if I liked this Bison team, but I don't. We've been pretty anti this team all year. At least I have. I hate this team. I do not trust the 10-foot pole, but I don't like South Dakota State either. I only like one team in this league, and that is my UMKC Roos. That's the team I'm betting on to win this conference tournament. I hope they represent the Summit in the tournament. Yes.
You like that team?
I do. I think they're actually kind of good.
Oh,
you heard it here
God,
first.
Did you watch them in the? Oh, they've
gotten a lot better. They've gotten a lot better. They're young. They're coming.
Sure.
KC's finest.
Good
KC's finest.
All right, Kai, from Matt Akers, San Francisco and Santa Clara in the WCC. Somewhat local rivalry here in the Bay Area. Again, I don't have the current spread. It is San Francisco -2.5 on the road after getting spanked at the Chase Center.
I kind of lean Santa Clara here. I've been a bit of a Don's cold water enthusiast the entire season. I just think they're a little bit overvalued in the market. I think Santa Clara can hang. So lean towards the Broncos.
Reddit are asking me if we're going with another Wagner under. They're playing Fairleigh Dickinson at home. Yeah, I lean that way. It is not going to be one of my best bets. I do have an under in the best bet section coming to go with my other 2, but it's not that one. I think Wagner unders are still a pretty solid play. 7 players, they want to grind it. I think that's a decent look. Matthew in the SoCon, East Tennessee State hosting UNC Greensboro. Matty Akers asking about this one. Your fellow Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, who cares? Because I don't care. I don't think either team cares. I think John Fendler and Stuck here also pointing out that every game in this conference means nothing today, effectively. So if you have information that you want to bet on, go for it. I don't have anything to offer you. Sorry.
Can we dive into if that matters or not? Let's offseason project. Does it matter that a team is clinched?
If it doesn't matter, does it matter if it doesn't matter?
Do they indeed cover less? I'm not so sure, and I think it gets overbet a little bit.
That sounds really hard to find in the data.
Sure it is.
Yeah, tough to tag in the data.
I just think stuff like that is overbet a little bit.
Yeah, valid. Matt, I wonder if you agree with me here because I like this one. I like Pitt -1 at BC.
I do too.
Eric Brund. Pitt's been a good road team. Not
BC, not a good home team. That's just historically. God, I feel actually it's one of the most depressing home courts of any Power 6. No one goes to those games. No one goes to these games. I feel like it's like a good opportunity for a team in the middle of this league to get a win they absolutely have to have against a good BC team, but probably overvalued for being truly honest about it. So
yeah, I like Pitt here too. Year, in my opinion.
Quinn Post can hoop though. I hope he gets paid NAL backdrop this offseason by somebody.
All right, Kai from Eric Sierra. We can go quick here. We got getting closer to noon Eastern since I'm in Eastern time zone.
We do need more likes. Mike Zhang's right. We need more likes right now. Right now, we need them. Go.
All right, Kai. Cal at Utah. Cal on the second leg of the mountain trip here. Utah looked like themselves, absolutely destroying Stanford on Thursday. What happens in this game?
That's a Utah lean at 9 for me, Jim. Yeah, lean towards the Utes in that game.
Yeah, Cal competed once. Hard to compete twice on that trip. Matt, TCU +7.5 at BYU. David Martell, thoughts?
Storm and Mormons. TCU, not as feisty as they were a month ago. I think the Uday injury has hurt them, and their results are looking a little bit auspicious, I'll say. BYU back at home. The Mormons just raining 17 threes. The Marriott Center's rocking. Jimmer's courtside. That's what happens today. So BYU. Big number. You missed the better value, but I still like that.
Hi, Notre Dame has taken money as a home dog, just like against Wake Forest. They were +6 in that game. They're now +6 against Clemson. Do you get a second straight home dog big effort from the Irish?
Shrewsbury said it best, man. It's hard to beat Notre Dame by a lot. and he takes pride in that. I think it's really tough to beat them by a couple, two, 3 possessions on their home floor, just the way they grind the game out. Slightly Notre Dame. I really do love Shrewsbury, but the talent gap is not even close in this game. It's Clemson by a mile.
All right. Next is Richmond laying 3.5 at home. Matthew, big rivalry game here. VCU won the first meeting. They have actually kind of owned Richmond over the years, but this is a new coach, of course. It's not quite the same athletic monster that it was under Rhodes. Do the Spideys, itsy bitsy Spideys, get one at home here?
Yeah, I kind of think they do. I don't want to like 3.5 though. You're right. VCU has owned Richmond historically, but that was mostly under the Rhodes pretty physical regime, which has been a kryptonite to Mooney. This new version of Odom kind of has some of that, but not. It's more balanced, I think. Right? They have skill and they have some defensive leapers up front, but I stay away here. This is a fascinating game. I couldn't figure out which side on the ledger I fell on.
Lean VCU for me.
Okay. All right. There you go. Norfolk State minus 2.5 at Delaware State. I like Delaware State. I think they have been extremely competitive this year. Norfolk State, a 2-game lead in the standings. I think Delaware State keeps them from.
Who's their coach?
Away. Delaware State.
Delaware State.
Stan Waterman. Delaware like high school legend.
Yeah, the Bucky McMillan 2.0, right? Local guy that rises to nearby college.
Had a tough first year, but then got talent. Okay, there you go. Okay.
Unger sounds great. Yeah.
Maddie Swack, Texas Southern, -5 at home against Jackson State.
I took the under.
Your boy Mo Williams on the road. You took the under again, Kai.
I did. Under.
Okay.
You got the under. Why, Kai? Kai, do you?
My number said take the under.
Okay, there you go. I'll take Kai's handicap and spew that back at you. I don't have a lot of big take on this game, Jim. I sort of let the SWAC escape me. I lost a lot of money in this league, so I sort of put it to bed. Sorry, SWAC fans.
All right, Matt. Then last question before we do best bets. Your boys from Oakland, Greg Campy and the boys, laying 16 at home against Detroit Mercy. Do the Grizz blow them out?
I just floated this as a best bet, not Oakland. That actually the corpse that is Detroit to the chat. I was quickly put in a blender. It's a rivalry game. Oakland has already celebrated their title. They got crushed by Wright State week off. They're looking ahead to the actual tournament, which they're trying to win as the 1 seed effectively. I feel like a player or two sits for the Grizz in this game, and you got to think it matters to Detroit. Last game of the year, like show some heart. And by the way, Detroit's last 5 games have not been god awful. They've been bad, but not god awful.
Why do you assume guys are going to sit? I don't think that's a correct thing to
the dumb assumption. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, like
Calhoun said in his presser. Calhoun said in his presser he texted Campy and said he was hoping he would sit guys. So I actually think there's some real potential that they might sit a guy there. There's no reason to play this game. This game is nothing, no meaning to Oakland. 0 chance. 0.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those teams have that possibility. Like Vermont is sitting 2 guys, but they're actually hurt. I don't know.
If someone gets hurt, like Oakland's had like 3 or 4 guys who've been banged up this year. Like if one of those guys gets hurt and you're missing Towson or Lampman or someone in round 1, you'll feel like an idiot for playing them in this game. Which means nothing.
I just don't think a college team is sitting guys that aren't hurt for load management purposes. I just don't think that's
but we have examples of it this year.
I think it's more like if the guy has an ankle that's sore.
If he has an ankle, if he's banged up at all. But I don't think healthy sits are a thing in college basketball, man.
That I would agree with. In the chat, sorry, real quick. Penn State at Minnesota. Minnesota's 17-1 against the spread at home.
Yeah,
I'm going to bet on the Gophers at home.
I took Penn State.
Wow, Kai with the middle finger to trends. All right, let's do best bets, guys. Quick reminder: I have Gonzaga plus 2.5. I have Hofstra plus 6. I'm also going with Loyola, Maryland, and the ground troops under. That total right now is 123.5. Army plays very slow. They can defend our home turf, but they cannot score. And Loyola, Maryland, Deion Perry might still be out. This was one of my best bets on Thursday, the under, and I'm sticking with it. The Greyhounds, I think we have a slog in that one. All right, those are my 3 best bets. Kai, to you.
Yeah, okay. I'm thinking about a few here. I got a couple rolling around the old noggin. I'm going to go with Morehead State, minus 20.5. I think they destroy Lindenwood today. I don't think it's close. I know giving big spreads is not cool for a best bet, but I'm doing it. Morehead, minus 20.5 is my best bet. 21's fine.
Yeah. Need to win to clinch the 3-way tie atop that league. Makes sense. Matthew.
I'm going to double down on Fordham. I gave this out earlier today. I think the Rams are pretty feisty on the road here at St. Joe's, which is Jekyll and Hyde. And obviously, if St. Joe's makes 15 threes, you're probably not going to be in a good spot. But they've not shot the ball well, and they're a team I like to fade as a favorite. They're not good as a favorite. They're good as a dog when they have no expectations. Fordham 2 in a row, playing better? Question mark. Don't look now. Fordham +8 and my second final best bet, Penn -3.5. The red and blue have been a thorn in my side. I think this is a really good spot today against Columbia, who just kind of missed out on their window to make the Ivy Madness. I think they sort of roll over in this game. Penn playing better the last two. So when I stopped betting them, they started playing better. I'm going to go back to the well today. I hope I don't get a whack-a-mole situation again. So Penn 3.5 and Fordham 8 are my two.
Penn's out though too,
Wonderful.
right? Penn's 2-10 in the league.
Yeah, they've been out. I think they're
can't believe
they're
they're 2-10. That's insane.
I know.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense.
Next year.
All right. That is it for our show today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm giving the chat an A performance, as the chats are today. A lot of good chatter in there. Thank you for tuning in again. A lot of great games. We'll be back on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Central for another edition of Best Bets presented by Circa Sports. Shout out to Circa. Shout out to Manscaped. Kai, Matt, thanks for joining today. Enjoy the games. We'll see you Tuesday.
Sign up for the